What's going on, everybody? I know it's bright and early in the morning, but your boy has some things to talk about, man. Your boy has some things to talk about. Um, I'm no longer frustrated about the brutally honest press conference that we heard yesterday with Arthur Blank and Rich McKay, without Terry Fontenot being there, even though he's the GM. I just thought that was a bad look. I thought there were a lot of things that were exposed in that press conference. And after having a night of just digesting that press conference, what's going on, Dirty Bird? He says, I'm overnight shift. Thanks for a good close out to the shift. Man, you're welcome. Thank you for actually listening. So here's what I'm thinking at this point, fam. As being a diehard Falcons fan for as long as I can remember, I'm 42 years of age. I don't remember rooting for another football team outside of the Falcons. I've been around before Blank bought this team in 2001. There are a couple things that I have. Hold on, let me pull up some stuff real quick. Hold on. So, God dang it. I don't know why it did that. Hold on. Give me a second. Okay. So here's my main issue. And I really thought about this long and hard last night. Arthur Smith and Rich McKay are tied at the hip. We keep hiring the same coach. We keep hiring the same exact coach. When I look at Dan Quinn and I look at Arthur Smith, they're essentially the same person. I mean, personality-wise, they kind of mimic each other. And even before that with Mike Smith, they haven't deviated from this personality type at head coach. It's the same. It's the same make. It's like a Ford. No matter what model you put on it, it's the same make. It's the same person. And our last three coaches have been coordinators. 2 defensive coordinators, 1 offensive coordinator. The crazy part is we've had more success with the with the defensive coordinators who didn't really have good defenses than the offensive coordinator. So we've talked about culture for a while over here, and identity. And one of the main issues with Arthur Smith this year is there was no identity. He had no idea what he was as offensive coordinator, let alone a head coach. And that trickled down to the problems on offense. Here's what worries me. So it looks like our GM is handicapped to a certain extent. Now, I've heard people say that, this is the trend going on in the NFL now where GMs don't pick head coaches, but that's not the norm. The norm usually is a GM picks a head coach. But, there are certain circumstances where if they fire the head coach and the GM, they bring them in as a pair. So I get that. Here's my problem. Art is fired. Terry Fontenot's the GM. Part of the GM's job is personnel, including the head coach. So to tell us that he's only going to have input, here's where I run into a problem. What if Rich McKay and Arthur Blank want somebody and Terry Fontenot doesn't think that that's a good fit? Is his input really worth something? Or vice versa? What if Terry Fontenot is really locked in on a guy as head coach, but Rich McKay and Arthur Blank don't agree with that? So there's already this dynamic that I don't really like right now. What's going on, Country Boy? Country Boy says, good morning, Marcus. I'm listening to you at work before I clock in. Man, I appreciate that, fam. I appreciate that a lot. So I touched on this. I touched on this yesterday in my frustration about chain of command, and there has to be a definitive on every single level. A head coach shouldn't be able to walk past the GM and talk to the CEO. That doesn't even work at your job. I don't care what happens at your job today. You can't talk to the CEO today or tomorrow or ever in that fact. There's a chain of command that gets to that point. And those are set in place for a reason. And Arthur Smith, being a businessman, should know this. So how he allows a head coach to walk past the GM to speak to uh, the CEO as well as himself is wild to me. But it makes sense if you're the one hiring him. Kind of similar to Jerry Jones. Dirty Bird, you said it perfectly. Arthur Blank's more like Jerry Jones than we realized. And what's been the issue that Dallas fans have had, as well as media, about their head coaches? From Jason Garrett to what was the other guy that was before him? They're toothless. They really don't have any power. That's been what's gone on in the Cowboys for years. And you see what happens with them. They haven't gone anywhere since the 90s. The last coach to take them to prominence actually bucked the system on Jerry and then left. So a large part of the blame for culture is on our owner and on the CEO. They keep bringing these guys in to shift and shape the identity of this team, but they're the same guy. And the reason why they're the same guy is because Art and Rich are hiring the same guy. I can go as far as Jim Mora too. Dan Quinn wanted to be friends with the team. So there was a level of respect that wasn't given to him as a head coach. Same thing happened to Jim Mora. Jim Mora had a dynamic quarterback on his roster that admitted that he didn't even study the playbook. Mike Smith, almost similar. Mike Smith, similar. When these guys walked out of the door, our last three coaches, the team loved them. Even though they were, towards the end of their tenure, they were bad coaches. But it's the same personality type I'm seeing in the coach. So Art Smith definitely gets a fair share of the blame this year. And I'll say even to a certain extent of Terry Fontenot. And here's why I say this. I firmly believe that the way that this thing went is Terry Fontenot was in charge of the offseason moves, which would make sense because of salary, contracts, all that other stuff. That makes sense. And Art was in charge of who he wanted in the draft. That's why we went offense 3 straight years, when a lot of people thought it wasn't even suitable to go offense. People wanted Justin Fields that first year. People wanted Carter this last year. You know, some people have an argument. Why in the hell would you get Bijan when you already have 1,000-yard rushing Tyler Algier going into his second year? And these are valid arguments. But when you start putting this jigsaw puzzle together piece by piece, you start to see the big picture. And I think one of the reasons why Terry Fontenot didn't go out the door, same as Arthur Smith, is because Rich McKay and Arthur Blank picked the coach. So if the coach isn't up to par, how in the hell can you fire the GM when y'all pick the coach? So that's a piece to the puzzle that we got yesterday. Because a lot of people were like, yeah, you should have let Terry Fontenot go too. Well, I can't say a lot of people, some people. But that's one of the reasons why Terry Fontenot wasn't shown the door, because he didn't hire Arthur Smith. They admitted to you yesterday. How they operate is the GM has input. That's not really saying much. So the reason why I say Terry Fontenot gets some of this is because of the draft. And when they went Desmond Ridder, this is why I'm almost 100% sure this was Art's guy. I don't know if there was any pushback to that. And then, as an organization, they have to get behind the head coach. So if the head coach is willing to die on the hill for a quarterback, they're kind of stuck too. So I'm pretty sure Terry won't make that mistake again. But honestly, I don't think he'll have the opportunity to. I that was disheartening to see yesterday. So I think the majority of the blame for this team as a whole for the last 20 plus years is the guys at the top. Now, we've had some good seasons. Went to an NFC championship game. The last three coaches I'm speaking of. But if you want to take it further, we did go to the playoffs with Mike Vick and handed Green Bay their first playoff L in the snow. First time in their franchise. Then we ended up losing to the Philadelphia Eagles. So we've had a couple NFC championship games, Super Bowl appearance. But can never get over the hump. 2016, perfect opportunity to do it. And we had a meltdown in the Super Bowl. 2017, we went right back, and we were a throw away from making it back to the NFC Championship game after a heartbreaking Super Bowl appearance. And we haven't been the same since. Now, they spoke on salary cap situation. And I appreciate the honesty. They admitted we were in salary cap hell. And then they immediately admitted they put us in salary cap hell. So I respect the ownership of that. But I can't really, fam, honestly, I can't really knock them. 2016, Matt Ryan's the MVP. Greatest season of his career. You have to pay him after that. It is what it is. And we just could never duplicate that year. But a couple things happened after 2016. Kyle Shanahan goes to the 49ers as head coach, and you immediately hire Steve Sarkisian, a guy who has no NFL experience at the coaching level. None. So on top of us never hiring a coach with head coaching experience, we went down to the collegiate level and got a guy who had no NFL experience coaching. This has been a trend going on before Arthur Smith even got here. So if you want to talk about why there's no culture, why there's no identity, or we don't have the right culture, we don't have the right identity, look at the top. And honestly, look at the guys they've hired at head coach and tell me how different they are from each other. They're company guys. They're not bucking the system in any form, shape, or fashion. They're not breaking ground. This is why this offseason is paramount, man. Arthur Blank is getting no younger. Hell, Rich McKay is getting no younger. And you have a core group. You have a core group of players that can win. Now, my argument all year is, one, your quarterback situation is a problem. Now everybody sees this. Some people a little late to the party, but now everybody sees this. Desmond Ridder is not the guy. He's not ready. Everybody sees this now. And your head coach was Cheeks, who also was your offensive coordinator. That is the only issue you have on this team. What's going on, Martavius? Says, I'm surprised you're up so early. Man, I'm usually up. Well, I'm up early. I'm usually up around 6. So now that everybody has come to the same conclusion on the 2 positions that need to be changed, they're technically 3. What we've been screaming from the rooftop since week 4, week 5, since now everybody is on the same page. This is the thing. This offseason, you have, I just can't emphasize this enough. You have to get the right head coach. You have to. And if you got to fight to get him, you fight. There's no excuse. You got the money. You got the money. There's no excuse. People are on the Bill Belichick train. Again, last time I checked, Bill Belichick has not been released from the Patriots. Last time I checked. The man still, right now, the man is still the head coach and the GM of that team. Black Monday is coming on. And this might take a minute because he's under contract. And the way, if you read what Bill Belichick is saying, that man ain't getting traded. Y'all gonna have to cut bait with me. I'm under contract. So if y'all want me out, y'all gonna have to kick me out. This might take a minute. Or not. Who knows? They were supposed to talk yesterday. Maybe a lot of that talk was how do we spin this in the media where it's a mutual agreement. But let's hypothetically say he becomes available. Do you go get him? 6 chips? Man had a dynasty damn near 20 years. Things ain't been the same since Tom Brady left. You know, it's fascinating that the same argument people will make for Bill Belichick coming here, they make a counter argument for Eric Bieniemy. And Eric Bieniemy's had recent success with the Chiefs. Now, he made a move to Washington because he couldn't get a gig as a head coach, which is wild because we've seen offensive coordinators with less success than him get a head coaching gig, but hey, that's neither here nor there. And if you look at Kansas City's offense since he left, not really where it was. So he took a gamble in Washington. I mean, I don't know what people expected because Washington was a bum-ass team before he got there. But, if you go with Bill Belichick, here's some interesting things. So it seemed like, I think it was either Sunday, where Belichick talked about how, he basically just wants to coach. I don't know if that was dog whistling to the Patriots, kind of letting Robert Kraft know, hey, listen, I'm willing to give up the GM position. I just want to coach these guys. Now, the way I stand on that is I wouldn't mind having Bill Belichick under one fucking condition. He doesn't get to shop for the groceries. He's got a track record of winning, but he also has a track record of bad picks. So if that's the caveat, hey, I'm cool with that. I don't want to see Ryan Nielsen go. But I mean, here's the thing. Bill Belichick is a hell of a defensive guy. So it's I like Nielsen. I do. But if Atlanta were to go get Bill Belichick, I'm not really losing my mind about Ryan Nielsen going, or Bill Belichick could keep him. I don't know. But for me, the only person that should be untouched on this staff is Ryan Nielsen. What quarterback do you pair him with? This is what I mean by this is how sensitive this is, fam. If you, man, right now, you are in win mode. So that's why it was just pissing me off when people were talking about a process. We're not in a process mode, right? That's for a rebuild. When Rich McKay mentioned rebuild yesterday, he was talking about the first 2 years. When they hired Smith, they didn't want people thinking that this was a rebuild, but it actually was. That was the first 2 years. That's why he got fired this year. Because the build was there. The schedule was there. How the hell did you still only win 7 games? They gave him a pass the first 2 years. This team is built to win now. And the reason why this firing wasn't premature, because there are some people talking about this was premature. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Let me tell you why it wasn't premature. The offense got worse this year by 11 slots. We were 15th last year. We're 26th this year with more and a better defense. which means you got more cracks at the apple to score. 26 this year. That's the same as the first year. So not only are you not showing improvements, your offense is regressing. Secondly, we have to look at contracts. You drafted Kyle Pitts 3 years ago. He's coming up on his 4th. Drake is coming up on his 3rd. Algier is coming up on his 3rd. You don't have time for a process when you have a team that's built to win right now and you're winning 7 games. So I agree with the firing. I've been talking about it for a while here. So ain't no way in hell I'm gonna go back and say, man, you know what? They shouldn't have fired him. Bam, look at the product we put out on the field. It was unbearable to watch. Well, you know, if Art had a quarterback, bro, he was here for 3 years. The quarterback that he decided to put all his eggs in the basket in was Desmond Ridder. That should tell you a lot about what he thinks about the quarterback position. Didn't give him a quarterback's coach, nothing. Didn't give him a competition in training camp, nothing. So what's this? If you give him a better quarterback, look at the one he got. Look at the one he was willing to risk his job for. Now everybody wants to talk better quarterback play. Beginning, middle of the season, y'all weren't talking that. A lot of these folks weren't talking this. So again, the fault that I'm looking at in that press conference, man, I'm telling you, I went back and watched it. I watched it again. It pissed me off even more the second time I watched it. Because I'm like, this is the problem right here. And it's frustrating because you can't do shit about it. You can fire a GM. You can fire a head coach. You can bench a player. What you gonna do about a CEO and an owner that are tied at the hip? One you can't fire because he owns the team. The other isn't gonna get fired because the one that owns the team loves him. So that's the frustrating part. You want to talk about culture and bringing dogs in here? They don't have that in them. And ironically speaking, dogs is probably what turned them off about bringing somebody in here who has that mentality. And they were willing. They were willing to go after Deshaun Watson with all that baggage. There's a lot of things that you look at where it's like you can't even win getting guys under the table. Now, granted, I understand the Deshaun Watson situation, but here's what's troubling me about that. You didn't go after Lamar Jackson because you didn't have the cap. But you went after Deshaun Watson a year prior when you were still in cap hell. That's the part they were flat out lying with that. Now listen, a lot of honesty that they said. They were flat out lying about that. The year prior, you went after Deshaun Watson. Those are facts. The other fact is you were more than a spectator in that. Now, I agree. $230, you shouldn't have matched at all. But you were willing to take on that contract. You were willing to give up the draft assets. If none of this was true, why did Matt Ryan demand a trade? If y'all were just spectators and y'all weren't serious, why Matt Ryan demand a trade? He demanded a trade because y'all went balls in for Deshaun Watson and basically said, Matt, thank you for the 14 years, but fuck you. We're going after this guy with all this baggage right now because he's a generational talent and you're long in the tooth. That's what happened. But they got on there yesterday talking about they were spectators. We kicked the tires. And there were a lot of discussions, and we finally decided against it. No, you didn't. You got outbid for him. Just like y'all did during the season with that boy in Chicago. You got outbid. Just keep it a buck. If you would have kept that honest, and when they asked about Lamar Jackson, now that part I get. Hey, man, listen. But they act like they were cash strapped at this time. We had came out of salary cap hell. We had money. Now, I'm not disagreeing with the organization not going after Lamar Jackson. Just be honest as to why you didn't. And I feel like they were being hella deceptive with the Lamar Jackson conversation. But they didn't want to be aggressive. They need to be aggressive this offseason, though. And my bigger problem is this. I'm not 100% sure if they're decided on a head coach or a game plan for a quarterback. I'm really not. I guess they're waiting for the ball to drop with Belichick, with the CFP done, the championship game done. Harbaugh should be available, but Harbaugh's price, and this is what I mean about being aggressive. Harbaugh's price is up. You got the money. If that's your guy, go fucking get him. Go get him. If Belichick's your guy, but the Patriots don't want to make a move, and they're stuck in between, hey, we got to get a pick for him, or we're not, fucking give the pick up to get him. This isn't a GM issue. It's not a head coach issue. Not even a player issue. It's an owner and a CEO issue. They keep picking the same guy at head coach. That's why they were getting asked the same questions. Do you need a head coach with head coaching experience? Because the last 20 plus years, y'all haven't got a head coach with head coach experience. It's the same prototypical guy. Jim Moore comes in, his presentation blows your mind. When Art Smith was on the block, he was one of the highest sought after offensive coordinators. Learn your lesson. You got 20 plus years of life lessons that you probably need to go get a guy who's actually fucking coached. And you got two guys that are probably Harbaugh hit the market. Belichick, we don't know. It's like a 50-50 proposition there. We don't know. Some sources are saying he's out the door. Other sources are saying they might be working things out. So if I'm blank, this ain't even back channeling at this point. Get on the horn and holler at Kraft. What the fuck's going on here? If that's your guy, get on the phone, holler at him. I don't know if he's already done that. Because what they're telling us is when they were asked about the interview process, they said, hey, we'll let you know after we interviewed him. It worked last time. Really? 7-10, 7-10, 7-10. This team is not going to change until you get somebody in here with stats. Somebody in here with rank and credential. Because what we're seeing is a team that loves the coach because he's a team-friendly guy. In the 20 years that the Patriots were dominant, players talked about how they it was no nonsense over there. They called it the Patriot way. They had a head coach who was no nonsense. They had a goddamn quarterback who was no nonsense. And what made that thing work is the head coach could actually criticize the quarterback, who was the best in the game. You know what that reminds me of? My basketball team, the San Antonio Spurs. When we were dominant all those years, we had Tim Duncan, who was the best player on the team, who took criticism from Pop. So because Duncan was able to take that criticism from Pop, everybody else had to take that criticism. Because how dare you think that you're above Tim Duncan? We don't see that with the Falcons at all. Because honestly, there's no criticism. Desmond Ridder played like pure cheeks all year. Got benched 3 times. They still talking about the potential of this kid. Now, I'm not saying go out there and blast him. But it wasn't until yesterday where Arthur Blank said the quarterback play was inadequate. No shit. But this is the guy that y'all sold us and y'all pushed on us. And, you know, you mentioned something about the fans hadn't, I'm going to use my terms, hadn't clocked out. I'm like, bruh, there are a lot of fans that clocked out a month ago on this team. So I'm like, where is your pulse at? Now you're lying again. A lot of the fan base clocked out because honestly, it's hard to watch a team that's got this kind of talent and y'all are averaging 17 points a game. And fam, like I said, it's not just Falcons fans that were happy that Arthur Smith got fired. There are content creators from other fan bases. I was watching a microphone last night. This guy ain't a Falcons fan. This guy was talking about he was happy that Smith got fired because of all the talent on this team. So it's a man, fam. It's a total organizational collapse. Everybody in this organization is to blame. And let me take it a step further. When the Saints were in victory formation and scored that touchdown, y'all notice nobody from defense really got active. They were just ready for it to be over with. There was nobody that was active on defense. Nobody. So you can't tell me that team hadn't clocked out. And I'm one of the guys who I don't see nothing wrong with it. I don't see nothing wrong with it. Let me pull it up. Let me see if I can pull it up. Jesus Christ. There should be a short on this. There's people showing the play and then talking all over it, which I'm about to do, but I'm just looking for the short where it shows the play. It's people talking about it, but where the fuck is the play at, bruh? I'm gonna have to Google this. Give me a second, fam. Okay. I can't just see the actual play. So anyway, I'm not gonna look at it. I'm not gonna look for it. In your due time this week, go back and look at that play. Nobody on defense fought anybody. Defense had clocked out, bro. So again, they have to take this. This is paramount. They take this offseason deadly serious. Because this is a good job to have is on paper. Your team is practically already built. All you need is a quarterback. And you don't need an all-time great quarterback. You just need a fucking competent one. Desmond Ridder was not a competent quarterback this year at all. This man's last 3 or 4 outings, he threw a pick. 2 weeks ago, when he came in against the Bears, this man had 4 passes. One of them happened to be a damn interception. And at the beginning of his career, he was throwing balls that should have been intercepted. Those 4 games that he played interception free, there were a couple balls that should have been intercepted. One actually was, and it was called back because of penalty. We didn't get competent play at the quarterback position. So it's not like you need a guy to come in here and throw for 500 yards every game. No, you need a competent quarterback. So your next head coach, and this is what I mean by, you don't see Kraft's hands in the cookie jar with the Patriots, the Rooneys. These are establishments now. You don't see them all in the cookie jar, bruh. When the Steelers fired their offensive coordinator, I forgot what that guy's name is. He's got like I should know what his name is. They called his bum ass name at damn near every one of these games. But it was initially reported that I think one of the owners had fired him. And then when Mike Tomlin came to the presser, he said he fired him. Now, could there have been pressure? Of course. But there's a chain of command for a reason. And that would have looked bad for one of the owners to go beyond chain of command and fire him. So he probably told Mike, you got to get rid of this guy. But it has to go through chain of command. So the head coach has to do it. That's how it's supposed to be done. That's why there was a lot of blowback in Carolina. When the owner fired the coach, the owner was just going through coaches like water. But you can't have an open door policy when it comes to stuff like this. Now, do I think there are certain situations where a coach talks to the CEO? Of course. But Rich McKay got on there and talked about they talk 25 times every week. Huh? What you got to talk to the head coach 25 times a week for? GM, I can understand. Because the GM's supposed to report directly to you and the owner. The head coach, no. So if you want to change culture, if you want an identity of a football team, this is one of the reasons why I think you have to hire a coach with head coaching experience, because they're going to come with that. If you hire Belichick, you know he comes with a defensive pedigree. You know that for a fact. There's a no nonsense. I expect the absolute best from each player. That's what you expect in a Bill Belichick. If you go after Harbaugh, the expectation you're going to put up a lot of points. Now the personality is going to be completely different. But I remember Harbaugh being actually a pass interference call away from winning a chip. And then another throw away from going back to the Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick, who everybody has revisionist history now and think that Colin Kaepernick was some bum. And mind you, Colin came after Alex Smith. And Alex Smith was winning. But it was Harbaugh that saw something in Colin Kaepernick and said, hey, man, this man might have a second gear. It's the same Colin Kaepernick that beat us. Same one. There's a tough identity that comes with Jim Harbaugh. Or what is it, Jim? What's his brother's name? I get them mixed up. See, I mentioned Jim Harbaugh's and I forgot his fucking brother's name just that quick. Over there in the Ravens. Hold on. Now I gotta look it up. But it's early in the morning, fam. Y'all gonna have to bear with me. John Harbaugh. And either one of those guys, listen, fam, I'm honestly cool with either one. But if there's a price to pay for them, you pay for them. If one of these two guys is your guy, you go fucking get him. Whatever happens after that, it just happens after that. If they turn out not to be the guy, hey, you tried. But at least this time, even the fan base can say, hey, man, he just didn't translate here. But one guy's coming off a natty. Another guy is arguably the best coach in NFL history. So either one. And then you let these guys sort the quarterback situation out. You're one competent quarterback away from mandatory 10-win seasons. And then you're playing for depth at that point. You go get one of these head coaches. You pair him with an absolute quarterback who just knows what the fuck they're doing. Whether that be Russ, whether that be Kirk, whether that be Kyler. And I'm still like, Justin Fields' price going to be a little high. So I'm if that's who y'all want to go get, fine. I think the price is going to be a little too high to get Justin. But get you a goddamn competent quarterback. Todd says, I give up Mark on this team as long as this owner owns the team. They have to hit a home run with the head coach. And they definitely have to now that we've been told officially yesterday that they picked the coach. I mean, they've been doing this, but they were adamant about it yesterday. GM only have input. So you got to hit a home run here. Because the last guy y'all picked, he left with a losing season every year. And it's a sexy job on paper. Cap space, check. Offensive pieces, check. Solid offensive line, check. Good defense, check. Don't have a pass rusher, and we had 38 sacks? Oh my God. Somebody with some type of cachet come here. Hey, listen, I'm going to need this quarterback right here. You come on over here. We're going to pay the price to go get him. Still got our draft picks intact? Oh, great, baby. We going edge rusher. That 8th pick needs to be an edge rusher. You got Campbell sounding like he ain't ready to put up the cleats. You got Grady talking about he gonna be ready when the season start. He on schedule. You got Jesse sewed up. You better sew up Landman. You got all kind of pieces on defense. But I'm still gonna stack it. Because the only issue I have on offense, honestly, is the quarterback. That's it. So I'm not, that 8th pick ain't going nowhere near offense. Nowhere. Nowhere. We've done that 3 years straight. We got the weapons we need on offense. Now, if I'm looking at offense, I'm going for a speedy wide receiver later in the draft. A guy that can take the top off. Chill Rodney says, Mark Cat Williams said it best. To be confident and delusional is a real skill. And that's Arthur Blank. Art, I think, the thing is, Art is in a great position, and he acknowledges this year in this offseason, they're in a great position. That's why they can't fuck this up. So I'm not really looking at a coordinator. I'm sorry, fam. I'm not looking at a coordinator. I like Bieniemy. I like him. And I hope somewhere down the line he gets a head coaching job. I just don't think this is the team, because we need a head coach with head coaching experience. And right now, these are the only two options I'm really eyeballing. Now, if Belichick gets taken off the market and the Patriots decide, hey, you know what, we've worked this thing out, take him off the books, you put all your guns on Harbaugh. All of them. Does he come with baggage? Yeah, but so the fuck what? So did Campbell over there in Detroit. Y'all saw that man's first press conference? Man was talking about biting kneecaps and shit. Now look at where they at. Playoffs. Sometimes this is the personality you need to take you over the edge. Sometimes this is it. The last 3 guys we've hired, same prototype. Problem is, the last one was a cheaper model. At least with the first 2, you had double-digit winning seasons. You made the playoffs. One of them you made the Super Bowl. Other one you made the NFC Championship game. So they had success. But these are the ways you get it right. These are the 2 guys you should be eyeballing right now. Now, I think the right thing for them to do is not show their cards. So them not announcing that they were going after a particular coach, I thought that was a smart move. But behind the scenes, I'm already talking to Harbaugh. I'm already talking to Kraft, and I'm already talking to Belichick. What's it gonna take? I'm pitching this team. I'm pitching them. Man, look, you come over here, baby. We got salary cap. We don't have to fully commit to a blockbuster deal for another year. Look at the O-line. Look at our defense. We don't even have an edge rusher, an edge rusher that can beat pressure. Almost 40 sacks. Any coach, I'm going to be honest, any coach can see this team and be like, yeah, I can do something with this. I got a running game. My God, I got a running game. This guy, 1,500 all-purpose yards and could have went for more. Oh, shit. Yeah. Y'all talk that right contract to me. Your boy coming. Your boy coming. People talking about Harbaugh asking for 20 mil. Okay. Y'all act like Blank ain't got it. Blank got that purse. Hey, he too much, man. Yes, did y'all see the Matt Ryan contracts? He got it. But you got to take this team from being a laughing stock to being relevant. The crazy part about it is other fan bases know this team has talent. You had Saints fans talking about y'all should have kept Arthur Smith. There's a reason they're saying that, fam. There's a reason they're saying that. I really liked Art. Art was a real good coach. I don't know why y'all got rid of him. There's a reason they're saying that. But even if you put Saints fans' feet to the fire, they will tell you, y'all quarterback short. Y'all quarterback away from being a solid team. I know this because I know Saints fans. And after they talk they shit and they get real with you, bro, why y'all ain't using Bijan? Why Cordell ain't being used? What y'all doing over there? After the hate goes out of their blood and they get honest with you, they'll tell you the same exact thing I'm telling you. You one quarterback, man. You one quarterback away, dog. They thought we were going to win the South this year at the beginning of the season. That's how terrible behind center was. Now, what I'm going to do before I get out of here, I'm going to put up some prophetic words. Now, this was said probably about 2 or 3 weeks after we said that he needed to be benched. Let me share my screen real quick. I'm going to end it on this right here. Right here. Shannon Sharp, October 22nd, 2023. Desmond Ridder is going to get himself cut and Arthur Smith fired. It's the 9th of January, fam. This was October 22nd. Desmond Ridder is going to get himself cut and Arthur Smith fired. One of those things has happened. Arthur Smith's fired. Desmond Ridder getting cut has yet to happen. But there's no way on God's green earth that Desmond Ridder will be starting for any team next year. So that's who's to blame for the Falcons this season. And there are ways to fix this team. This team is not broken. Let me emphasize that. This team is not broken. This team's got a lot of talent. This team is in a good spot salary-wise. They're in a good spot cap-wise. They're in a good spot draft-wise. They got a great fan base. The Falcons fan base is probably the realest fan base out here. We don't have a title. We don't have a chip. We've been embarrassed for years. We had the biggest meltdown in Super Bowl history, and we're still here. That's about as real as it gets. So if you start winning, Ben's gonna be packed. Ben's gonna be packed. Period. We have been waiting for them to put a championship caliber team out here in these streets. Because, fam, think about it. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. This state is waiting for the Falcons to win a chip. When they do, we tearing this goddamn city down. Georgia done won too. Great showing. Great parade. Our soccer teams won one. Great parade. Braves won one. Great parade. Fam, when the Falcons win, this shit is going to be like Freaknik. There's going to be a different vibe there. And people are ready for this to happen. We were on the cusp of it 2016. We were right there on the cusp. And I firmly believe this team ain't that far away from being there. If I'm going to be honest, I think that could happen next year. I'm not one of these guys that think that this team is 3 or 4 years away. I think the right quarterback and the right coach, we there. Because think about all the games we lost. Think about all the games we lost. We only won 7. But how many games did we give away, fam? I mean, based off of quarterback play, that's 4. So that's 11 wins right there. And you're in the playoffs with a home game. Playing who? Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're not that far away, fam. We're not. Put the right coach here. To me, the only 2 candidates that should be mentioned right now. One, we can't really mention until it gets official. But Belichick, Harbaugh. Belichick comes with the condition. You just coach. You don't shop groceries. You just coach. You leave that to Terry Fontenot. Terry, if that's the case, the quarterback on you. Go make that happen. All you need is a competent one, bro. That's all you need. And then in the draft, get you a speed. Only thing you need on offense is a speedy wide receiver to pair with Drake London. Everything else, depth. Defense, get you an edge rusher. Hell, get you 2 if you have to. Because if we got this type of productivity with no dominant pass rusher, bruh, think what you can do with the dominant one. Oh, you'd have moved into top 5 defense. And if you move into top 5 defense with a good offense, that's what I mean. A year turnaround. But we'll see what happens, man. That's why I don't really like talking about what ifs, because when it happens and then we fucking hire some offensive coordinator, God, it's like, really, y'all haven't learned. Y'all have not learned, man. But we'll see. They got everything in front of them. So, yeah. With that being said, fam, I'm gonna go ahead and hop up off here. I know it was an early morning pod. So the ones that are up, Todd, Nate, Smart, Chill, Rodney, Dirty Bird, what's happening? Andre, Country Boy, T Waters, Martavius. Hey man, I appreciate y'all guys rocking with me early this morning. For the people that catch this pod later on today, man, y'all know I always appreciate it, man. And I'm still gonna come on Friday. We gonna talk about some random shit on Friday. Usually y'all know when the season's over, I clock out, and y'all don't hear from me until until training camp or some shit like that. But I will be back on here Friday, man, and we'll just talk about random stuff, man. But I'm gonna end this on a positive note, man. There's a lot of potential in this team. I'm always gonna have confidence in this team, man. We have a great fan base. We do. Raymond said, I missed you, bro. Hey, man, you can run it back. You can always run it back. And I just see, man, the potential. We just have to get those positions sewed up, man. If you get a great offensive coordinator, you get a good, competent head coach, and you get a competent quarterback, bro, this sky's the limit with this team, man. The sky's the limit. And I hope next year, instead of us being in a civil war with each other, we're celebrating with each other, talking about how great this team is. And how, man, this team is a force to be fucking reckoned with. I hope we can all come together and be on happy mode. Because when we're losing, when the family feuds, nobody wins, man. And I have a feeling next year we're going to be on happy mode. I have a feeling. I don't know why. I just have this. I have this feeling. And we'll see. And a funny thing, people might think I'm crazy, but this really happened. So before the 2016 season started, I had a dream that the Falcons had made the Super Bowl. This is true shit. And we were in white jerseys. The team we were playing, I could not see. But I went to work the next day and I was like, man, I had a dream we were in the Super Bowl. Man, my coworkers laughed they ass off at me. And then we made the Super Bowl. We lost. Now, I didn't have in our dream we lost. But that was, I think we have a better roster than we did in 2016. I really do. But the thing was, in 2016, we had the right pieces in the right places. Competent quarterback, competent offensive coordinator, and a head coach who at the time was in his second year. Yeah, it was the wrong jerseys. But I think this team top to bottom, well, outside of the quarterback and the offensive coordinator, of course, I think we have a good team. And Friday, I'll kind of go into offensively what I think we should have done this year and what we could do next year. So, and again, I'm no expert. I've never been an offensive coordinator. However, I've watched enough football in my life, especially on the offensive side of the ball. There are plenty of people that can talk the defensive side of the ball. I'm going to concede to all day long. The offensive side of the ball, though, when I'm looking at things that should happen and don't happen, yeah, we got issues. But we're going to get right. We're going to get right. But if we don't, the two people we can blame now because of yesterday is Rich McKay and Arthur Blank. Those are the two guys we can directly look at now and say, this on y'all. Because you kneecapped our GM yesterday. We can't put nothing on Terry Fontenot. We can't. According to y'all, the man was working yesterday. He's back at the branch, talking to head coaches, talking to so he's working. That's all on y'all now. But anyway, fam, I'm up out of here, man. Y'all enjoy your morning. Be safe out there because it looks like it's storming out here today. Y'all be careful. Have a great day, man, and I will holler at you guys Friday. Peace.